Okay, we are delighted to be joined by Dave McKenzie. Hi, Dave.
Yeah.
Good,
Yo,
good morning to you. I guess you're north of the border, right?
certainly. I Glasgow based but work in Edinburgh. So jump backwards and forwards.
The best city, Edinburgh.
I was raised in Edinburgh. The wife's from Glasgow, so as far as I'm concerned, Glasgow's a wonderful place.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You've
That's
got
a good answer.
a good foot in both camps there. I like it.
Indeed.
Excellent. Okay, Dave, if you wouldn't mind just giving us a little bit of an intro, let us know who you are and the kind of stuff that you get up to.
Cool. Right. So I too am an old bastard.
Old Bastard Club.
Yeah. Well, old bastards are the coolest. And for the majority of my career, I was an IT guy. I did like third line support and I did a lot of managed service stuff. And then after like 5 years straight of helping educational establishments dig themselves out from things like ransomware and all that sort of stuff, I got kind of poked by an ex kind of colleague that said, "I come do security for real." I was like, yeah, all right, fine. I'll go and have a chat with them. Fell in love with the company, and that was it. So for the last 15 months, I've been working out of a cybersecurity startup in Edinburgh.
Awesome.
And yeah, and it's been an eyebrow raiser because you kind of go in going, I'm an IT guy pretending to do security. What do I really know? I've got a whole bunch of graduates. It turns out now I have a whole bunch of kind of graduates that work for me and look at me, and I'm sitting there going, oh God, what's going to happen here? 2 seconds in the door, then they're going, you don't know anything. Well, your degree's in computing. What? And it's how many years ago? It's like, yeah. I did Visual Basic and C++. Fine. But my first job was an Access database programmer, and I was like, okay, I don't really know what I'm doing. That's fine, I can do that. And yeah, and it was a weird thing. And then somebody said, oh yeah, go do a payroll database. I was like, yeah, no problem. And then payroll went, it's March, come and talk to us in May. And it's like, hiya, I'm a contractor, and I'm sitting here going, you tell me to do nothing for 2 months? Yeah. And then somebody handed me a CD drive and said, help the help desk and go and install that. And I'm looking at this like piece of hardware going, I've never been inside a PC before. And then I ended up, and that was me, customer service for my entire career. It's been helping the customer, and whether that's an internal customer or an external customer, it's a thing that floats my boat is that end user experience, and now it's protecting that end user. And the stuff that happens nowadays about the kind of resonation of the stop blaming the end user, that really strikes a chord. I saw Jess talking on it like about 2 years ago, and I was like, that's exactly what we should be saying. And he's like, Jeannie in the office clicked on a link, and it's now everybody's having a really, really bad day now.
Yeah.
But it's not her fault. So how did that link hit? I mean, how did that get to her? And how did it have such an impact that she clicked on it? There's an awful lot of failings in there that led up to it, because people will be people and people will do stupid stuff. I have clicked on stupid links and 2 seconds I went, oh no, because people are fallible. The whole point of systems is to protect people and help your users. They just want to do their jobs. They don't want to be worrying about, is this link safe? Look, how do you know? I've known plenty of guys that are very tech savvy and just about filled in their Apple details into a phishing site, and then suddenly went, wait a minute, and hey, I've known people that have gone all the way. So yeah, I mean, it's about protecting the end user people. But the one big thing about moving across to security, and now, so I've been running a SOC, I've now run all managed services where I'm, but one of the things was the security guys that come straight out will quite happily sit there and say, oh my God, this guy set it up like this. And you're like, no, that guy there is an IT guy that's trying to squeeze 18 hours work into 8 hours. And nothing was working that day. The phone was ringing off the hook. And he finally got it working. And he went, it's fine, I'll go back and I'll tidy it up later. And never did. And it's like, you cannot sit there. In the same way you can't sit and shout at Gene in the office for clicking on something, you can't shout on an IT guy that was just trying to do his job. You can try and educate him, but shouting at him for something that happened 18 months ago and he had absolutely no clue that he did it, nah, you failed. Okay, he opened it. I mean, I've literally come across he did an any rule because he was trying to get a cloud system and an on-prem system to talk to each other. Nothing was working. And he ended up with this any rule to make sure, is it something that the firewall's doing?
Yeah.
And then off they go. And the thing was, then nobody noticed. And he's sitting going, right, okay, hang on a second. The fact that you left somebody left an any rule in your organization, and nobody notices until bad guy comes knocking and then owns your establishment. There's a whole bunch of other systems that you should have had in place, and you should be talking about, right, okay, well, how did how have we not got a vulnerability scan from the outside that didn't point out the fact that we've got these firewalls open like that? And they're sitting there going like, fix that stuff. Don't shout at the poor guy that was just pleased that he got something working and then he got distracted.
I want to talk about that because that's been a central theme, that IT is incentivized to get stuff done and get stuff working. And security ends up sometimes being perceived as the reason why that thing can't happen.
Yeah.
Do you find that because you came from the IT to the security world that you had to kind of change your vision or change out your view?
No, because what I've tried to do is change the view. So you shouldn't block. Like, in the end, the business is there to make widgets. And if you're putting stuff in there and then you say, no, you can't do that, you're stopping someone. So you need to help them. And sometimes it's an education thing and okay, but if we do it this way, then you get your end goal and I get my end goal, which is keeping everybody safe. And it's about that conversation. If you end up being the security guy that says, no, you can't do that, no, you can't do that, that's insecure. It does, I mean, I've seen it in our own internal dev team and, our own internal monitoring, where you actually have a guy standing there going, that's insecure, Mr. Dev, so you can't do it. And then the dev looks at you going, well, I need to be able to do X function. So standing and saying no doesn't help anybody.
It's come with solutions, really, right?
Oh, it is. I mean, if you can't participate in it and then sit and say, right, show me what you want to do. I mean, it's the biggest kind of adage for, I mean, I tell the guys in the SOC and every IT guy I've ever trained throughout the years has been the guy's phoning you with an issue or you're seeing an issue. Try and work out what it was the person was trying to do in the first place and help them get there. Even if they're asking a completely different question. Say, well, why are you asking me that question? Or why is it doing it like that? All right, it's doing it like that because the person was trying to achieve X. If you can see a better way and a more secure way and a safer way of getting to X, then go help them do that. Don't turn around and say no, or don't turn around and call them stupid, because it's not helping anybody. And all you're doing is you're siloing yourself off. And then people don't come to you with, oh, I'm a little bit worried about X. And so you make yourself completely, in this ivory tower of security or of third line support or whatever. It doesn't help. You got to roll up your sleeves and say, what are you trying to do? Right, let's go make that happen. And if you do that, you get far, far better outcomes. And your job ultimately is much easier.
For sure.
So I mean, it's just it's been a rampant imposter syndrome for the last year of my life. Although, I mean, 2 weeks into the job, they just hand me an incident. I'm like, right, okay, really? Me? It's like, should I not be just watching all these young kids with their forensic degrees and stuff like that doing that? And you're sitting there going, then they look at you going, well, what if a guy asks me a question I don't know the answer to? Like, oh, right, hang on, right. You were all just people. You don't know, you don't know what you don't know sometimes. And let's face it, if you think you know everything, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
So,
great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting one. So you've been in the security industry for, what do you say, 15 months?
Yeah, officially 15 months, yep.
15 months. So I think you're probably a signal example of a lot of people that have moved from discipline A into discipline B, and that being security.
Yeah.
So imposter syndrome and all of that kind of stuff, and hey, everybody suffers from it. If they tell you otherwise, they're talking out their arse. But just for the people that are maybe listening, there probably aren't too many people listening that aren't already in the industry, but this is going to get recorded and it'll get played out. Just talk us through a little bit about the transition from not being in security into being in the industry, and how you felt, maybe some of the emotions that you felt, some of the doubts and that, and how you overcame them, just maybe to just encourage others.
Yeah. So I fell into, I mean, I'd always been interested in security, and I'd always done a little bit of the odd little course here whenever you could, steal it or read in X, Y, and Z. And then, getting involved in stuff, and that I mean, my IT, I stopped doing IT stuff and ended up just helping dig people out of holes we got ransomware, and then I brought a guy in who said he knew what he was doing, and he didn't, and I was like, oh God, right, here we go. And it's the same way, you see it with IT projects, you see it with security response as well. Is that there's a man in a white van that's quite happily going to roll up and say, yeah, no problem, I'll fix it all, when he doesn't have a clue what he's doing.
Sure.
And you just sitting there going, you know what? The industries are not that different. The security industry, I mean, especially this kind of the scene in Glasgow and Edinburgh, I couldn't have asked for anything better. Now, I've not been to official cons. I've done lots of events and stuff like that, and B-sides and stuff like that, but nothing of the bigger cons. So I've not seen some of the negativity and stuff like that. It's I mean, the listening over the last kind of X hours, what are we at, 12, 13, 15 hours?
Yeah.
It has been an eye opener that, all right, okay, I could understand a lot of the fears about people going to cons for the first time, and then just going, hi, I've only been doing this a little bit, and people kind of looking down their nose at you, and worse. But yeah, it's for me, it's the go out and get involved. I mean, I'm a 40-odd-year-old guy, and I sat there and went, you know what? When I did IT and I started in it, you wore a shirt and a tie. If you were a contractor, you didn't get to sit in the nice seats. It was like, what's a contractor doing in one of the expensive seats? He can have one of them with an iron bar across his back, and because he shouldn't be sitting down anyway. He should be pumping PCs over there doing that.
Yeah.
I am just going to order anvils of punishment that the IT guy needs to carry back.
Oh yeah. That's it. Honestly, I was in a company where they had Herman Mueller Aeron chairs for all the permanent staff, and these crappy $15.99 things that they bought from some crap, and you're just sitting there going, and I made the mistake of sitting in one of them, and I had one of those chairs for 4 hours, and it was the best 4 hours in my sitting life. But
only employees get to use the elevator. Contractors take the stairs.
Yeah. I've seen it all. The offer snobbery against thing. But I mean, and now I sit there and go, and I can remember the half the things that my guys come to me with, their concerns and their worries and their personal lives and stuff like that. I never would have dreamed about doing that back in the day, and now I'm sitting there going, I'm in an industry that actually promotes looking after your mental health and stuff like that, and because of the burnout of analysts and all that sort of thing, they're aware of it, and it's actually encouraging. Sitting going, it's a nice thing to be working in a startup instead of a kind of stuffy office with 300 middle managers that never change no matter what happens and all that sort of malarkey. You're sitting going, this is fantastic, but I get to look after my guys, and you're just sitting there going, it's such a nice environment. I go along to all the Cyber Scotland Connect, and they are the people you meet. Everybody is hiya, what do you do? How do you do it? That's really interesting. There's none of the snobbery or the number of IT kind of conferences I've been where it is literally everybody just wants to sell you something or use you in some way. Yeah, and other than that, they're not that interested. And you're like, this is you're just sitting there going, what a fantastic industry to actually be in, where everybody actually cares about each other. And I know we're all in a bubble because we're all, we all see each other on Twitter and we go to the same events and stuff. And there's a lot of people out there that are probably arseholes, but the ones I'm coming across, they're all fantastic, and everybody's dead friendly, and everyone's sitting there going, there, you don't need to know everything. You come help. Right, brilliant.
Yeah, and I think you kind of answered your own question in a little way around the bubble bit. I think it demonstrates to me that we're a strong community, and the fact that we do see each other all the time. I mean, just a point of reference, we met you up at Cyber Scotland Connect in September.
That's right.
and we had a good time up there, and it was good. It felt great. It was a really nice and warm event. But if going back to your point about the attending conferences generally, if you want to be chased around by a menace with a QR reader, then you go to InfoSec EU.
Yeah, you do.
And then you watch your inbox deluged with crap the following week, and people ringing you up selling you that next gen thing. On the other hand, if you want to go meet people that are just like you and have got the same worries and stresses and things that they want to contribute, then you go to a B-size conference. And that's as simple as it is. Or you got SteelCon, places like that. And I'm yet to find, in my experience of a community conference, anybody who's a dick. I mean, yeah, of course they're there, but nobody's ruined my experience of any of the B-sides or SteelCons in the UK, because I feel at home in that environment. And when I attend those conferences, I get the nourishment I think I need that lets me go on and do my job better. If I want a solution to a problem, then I'll go look for it. What I don't want is somebody giving me a solution to a problem I haven't fucking got. And that's what you tend to find when you attend more of the commercial conferences that are vendor heavy. And you don't get that when you go to B-sides. So that's my rant. I've preached. I'm done.
I want to just add one thing to that. So yeah. I'll give you an example. When you're at these community events, and there are, I'm going to say, members of the community that I hold in really high regard, I don't want to be taken aside by a Jenny Radcliffe and given a tune-up, right? Nobody wants that. I don't want Brian to have to pull out the American Express card again because of my atrocious behavior. So in a way, though, when a young member of our esteemed group decided to vomit profusely all over the venue, I think he was pretty shamed into that behavior. I mean, and I hope, I talked to him and I didn't say, I didn't really make reference to it, but I just said, hey, man, like everyone's here to have a good time. And it's just a bit embarrassing, what happened. Try to respect the conference and the folks that worked so hard to put it together. Yeah. Like end up, right? I didn't go out to Twitter. I didn't take a picture of his vomit and put it up online. Just a quiet conversation. And I think maybe what's happening is we're not doing that as much as we should as leaders. What do you think, Dave?
No, definitely.
Have you had to mentor people?
Yes. I mean, that's it. I mean, like the job I have now, I've got, we try to bring in the kind of graduates and bring them up and through sort of thing. And there's just an element of it. Sometimes you sit there going, God, how many times have I had to give out the advice I remember some old fart giving me, even back in the day when I started, sort of thing. And you're just sitting there going, God, I mean, they're cliches for a reason, right? But God, I mean, they're so true. Yeah. You're just sitting there going, God, I wish I could go back and tell myself that and actually say, no, believe me, don't roll your eyes and all that sort of thing. But no, the thing is, I also find that nowadays the mentoring thing, I think, is easier because people are more open and honest with each other, especially in our industry now. And it is just it seems easier to give people the advice. I mean, I've had guys like sitting there going, and I'm looking at him going, you're right. And then you sitting there going, he's like, look, I've kind of started talking to another company. And you're like, that's fine. You're not here for forever. And you're sitting going, so what's the deal? And you're sitting going, you're sitting going, no. And you're sitting going, it's amazing that I can come and talk to you about it and not feel that like I'm betraying you. And you're sitting there going, you have a career. You know what? Like when is this up? Wait, what are they looking for? Right. You know what? Here's a project that, if we slant it this way, you can stick it on your CV and it bolsters up a bit that you're weak on. And right, they're going to ask you about X, Y, and Z. I know about that. Let's have a sit down, we have a wee chat and go through it. You're sitting there going, I would much rather, help people move along the ladder and help them like mature and understand what's going on. I mean, I've had analysts that were terrified of getting an incident at 2 a.m. because they think, oh no, I'm going to have to deal with like a customer at like 2 a.m. And what am I going to do? What am I going to say? What if I get it wrong? You're sitting there going, one, it's 2 a.m. You're waking up like, some some head of IT or some CISO somewhere to give them the bad news that something's happened, they're just going to want your expertise, and you are an expert. You've done the education, you've been sitting in the SOC for like over a year. You kind of know what you're talking about. You just have to have a bit more faith in your own abilities. But this is why we have processes. And this look, see, if you just follow this, you will not be able to get it wrong, because this thing will take you through it. And hey, if it goes horribly wrong, you're waking me up at 2 in the morning anyway. So just give me a phone. It's like the phone's on and beside the bed. I'm not going to complain that you phone and say, look, I need a hand on this. I'm more likely to complain that you sat there out of your depth and didn't say I need help. And being able to give people that confidence to come and ask you, as a slightly older member of the kind of community, to sit there and say, you're just sitting there going, honestly, the whole, what do you mean you've not seen Con Air? Have you seen Grosse Pointe Blank? Like, come on, like you're just sitting there going, the number of references that I came into this job that just worked in my last place because we were all similar ilk. And you're just sitting there going, right, okay, right, we're going to have to come up with a new language, because I can no longer talk in the half movie quotes and stuff like that and expect you to get it. Yeah. But I don't expect it. Similarly, I don't expect you to get every technical nuance and every single thing. I mean, the guys will sit there and go, "What's this?" And I was sitting there going, "I dealt with that system 15 years ago. It's this application. It works like that. It's been a while since I've seen it. You might want to go Google it, but that's where you start." And they just sit and look at you, go, "You're like a god." And you're like, they're sitting, "Well, can you help me with your godlike skills with Excel?" Excel's not that hard. Google's easier. Like, okay. See, once you unmaster pivot tables, right? You are the master of thing. You just go figure out pivot tables. Once you're happy with pivot tables, you can make that thing say anything you need it to. But yeah, it is just it's no magic. It's just time and experience, and that's what you've got to give more above anything else. Because let's face it, our technical skills will detriment the further we get away from something on the front line.
Dial-up modems are coming back, Dave. They're coming back huge.
Bring them back. So that's about
I'm ready.
Discussing the difference between a switch and a hub. Like they're going, what's no, the same thing. No, they're bloody not.
That's where you send the new guys. Go and find me a dip switch. I need a dip switch.
Modem connection string. Ian, you know all about that. That was your handle.
Dude, that was my life for the longest way. That was the only way to access the interwebs.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, hey, like when you had to sit there and sit in timeshare with your parents, so who could use the phone line so that you could see porn. I mean, come on, it's like you're just sitting there going that it's like, and then you say, no, back in the day, porn was like people like writing stories to each other.
And that's why everyone needed a color monitor.
Absolutely. So, all right, Dave, 15 months in, you sound like you're enjoying yourself and you've settled in really well into the industry and into the community. I do think the two things are distinct. I don't know whether you'd agree with that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, the industry is the InfoSec Europe to the world and the rest of it. The community is us, the people here that are taking time out to have conversations and chat and share insights and stuff. So the question is, what's the next 12 months going to look like for you?
Learning. I mean, because I'd got into in IT, the certification thing had gone horribly wrong for me, because I'd actually managed so many contractors with MCSEs that didn't know what logging on locally was, that it lost all meaning for me, sort of thing. So I only ever did like a handful of certs and stuff like that. You just sit there going, I'm happy to read about stuff, but there are times where you sit there going, you know what, that qualification will either open a door or at least give you an equivalency in a language that means that people know that you know the basics and stuff like that. So yeah, part for me personally, there's going to be like certs, and juggling that around a 5 and a 6-year-old will be hilarious. But yeah, well, that'll be like Daddy needs quiet time. But Daddy needs quiet time. But yeah, and it's for me, it's that like getting back on the official learning and going on that wheel, because for so long I've just like bodged about in the background and said I found something that's interesting, I'll go and read about it, and then you kind of get 3/4 of the way through it, get enough, and then you move off. But kind of want to go and complete some educational kind of milestones as well.
Fantastic. That sounds good. And will we see you in the community, in the conference circuit next year?
Definitely. Because the B-sides and stuff like that, yeah, fantastic. Anything bigger, not sure yet. To be honest, I have this weird thing that even like on Twitter and stuff like that, there's an awful lot of people talking, but not an awful lot of people saying things at times. I'm certainly I've found myself in the last couple of years going, be sensitive and stuff like that, and you're saying, going, right, okay, right, so what have I actually got to say? I think I want to go and find what I've got to say and then start sharing it, sort of thing.
Yeah, excellent. So talking of sharing and going back really to Thomas Fisher's point, are you feeling funky enough to maybe stand up and deliver a talk?
Oh yeah, well that's it. As long as I've got a topic that I can feel I can resonate and make somebody's life slightly better about it, then I'm happy to do it. I don't want to regurgitate old crap sort of thing. But there is the problem is that so many experts in this field, you're sitting there going, right, I need to find what my truth is and share that with people so that it enriches the community sort of thing. And that's a big challenge given how many. I mean, look at the heavyweights you've got on this today. It just been, I was looking and going there, oh my God.
It's unfair to make fun of Mike's weight. Okay.
Oh.
Some of it has come off in the last month or so, I have to say.
Yeah, actually, we were sick for like a month, right?
Forever, yeah, man.
Yeah.
But on your point, Dave, talking about luminaries within the industry, but everybody starts somewhere, and everybody has got something to say. And again, that was a point Thomas made.
Yeah.
There could be a piece of work that you've done deep in your business that's really made a material change for the good of what you're doing, and other people might not be thinking like that. And if you can stand up even on a rookie talk for 15 minutes and just share some of your experience, you might get one person that walks out of that talk and goes back to their company or even their personal life and do something different. And that makes a change. And again, that's job done as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I think it just came across that you're very warm, you're a very caring and good manager of the way you approach that, 2 a.m. SOC call. That was really inspiring. So I love those kind of stories, Dave, and wish you the absolute best in 2020.
Agreed.
Cool. Thanks very much, guys, and you're doing a great job with us.
Thanks very much. Yeah, thanks for joining us, Dave. Much appreciated.
Thanks, all.
Thanks, mate. All right.
So, Mike, how are you feeling?
Tired.
I got a coffee in me, and I had some water and some vitamins, so I'm feeling capable.
Capable. Are you feeling powerful?
No.
How about effervescent?
Effervescent. Well, while we're talking about effervescence, I'm going to pour myself a drink of Vimto. That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Oh, you actually got real Vimto down there?
Real Vimto down here.
Nice.
With sugar in it as well.